Welcome back into the studio, guys. Today we're going to go over 5 of the most common mistakes many people make when they engage in a resistance training routine. Whether you're lifting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, even 7 times a week, there's a really good chance you're making some of these mistakes. How do I know? I've made a lot of them myself, and I've worked with people who have made these mistakes. The good news is, every single one of the 5 things we're going over today, I'm going to tell you how it might bite you in the butt down the road and how you can fix it right away to make resistance training a lifelong habit that gets you a ton of results. Let's get into the first thing you want to avoid. Number 1, and this might surprise you guys, it's actually going to the gym too much or doing too many sessions in a week. That can be a problem for a variety of reasons. But let's look at it through the lens of somebody who's new to weight training. It's happened to me and it's happened to many of my clients. But when you get in the gym at first, you see tremendous results right away. It's really, really addicting, and it can make you want to go more than maybe you need to. Because at first, you don't need to train that much to make great progress. In fact, just a couple lifts a week will work wonders. But if you're anything like me and you're somebody who's watching a YouTube video about working out, which I know means you're passionate about working out, you might be inclined to go 4, 5, 6, even 7 days a week. The first year I trained, I went 7 days a week like clockwork. And I think it actually made my results worse. Here's why. If you go to the gym too much, you will do a lot of damage to your muscles. You will potentiate or set up a lot of progress. But if you don't actually recover, take days off and take time away, you won't fully recover from all that training. So you'll leave a ton of gains on the table. So the first thing you need to do when it comes to setting up a resistance training program is work in a number of sessions that allows you to train hard and opportunity to recover from those sessions. And if you're somebody who's watching this and you're training 7 days a week, I would say to stop right away. That's probably not going to help you make progress. And if you're inside your first year of training and you're already training 6 days a week, again, I'd probably tell you to stop. Because where are you going to go from there? In a perfect world, in your first year of training, you probably train 3 to 4 times a week. In your second year, you could move to 4 to 5. And then after 2 years, if you want to continue to add tremendous strength or enhance your physique, that's when you can trickle in 6 or 7 days a week. But for like 95 to 99% of you who aren't going to compete in a bodybuilding show or a powerlifting show, training 4 to 5 days a week is going to lead to better results, better recovery, and just give you more time. Let's move into the second thing to avoid. So a big mistake people make when they start lifting weights is forgetting the 2 fastest tracks to progress. Never lose sight of the fact that the fastest way to make progress in the gym is to either 1, push the sets that you're doing closer to failure, or 2, do the work that you're doing with more weight. That is 2 huge principles. The principle of intensity and the principle of progressive overload via weight. And it can be so easy when you're new to the gym to forget that. It can be that simple. If all you ever did were 5 lifts, and those 5 lifts added 5 pounds a year, you get stronger in perpetuity. If all you ever did was increasingly get closer and closer to failure without ever adding weight on a lift until you hit true failure, you would know that those sets were stimulative. Keep in mind, with all the noise in training, with all the different things to try and choose, if you are in the gym and you are lifting weights, you need to always keep in mind you want to push close to failure, and over time you want to get stronger. Because that will lead to tremendous results. And it keeps this shit fun. Another really common mistake, and I'm guilty of this one too, is putting too many exercises into one workout or one session. I get this question quite a bit from people, something to the tune of, how many exercises should I do in a session? And while it's really hard to answer because we all have a different fitness level, I want to make sure that I put this caveat out there. There might not be a number that's too low, but there's definitely a number that's too high. I'll give you an example. When I first started training, remember that 7-day-a-week example I gave earlier that I'm ashamed of? In that 7-day workout routine, one of my chest days had a flat bench press and a flat dumbbell fly, an incline chest press and an incline dumbbell fly. a decline chest press, and a decline dumbbell fly, a cable fly, and a pec deck. That is quite literally 8 different exercises just for chest, just on one day. And I would argue that in my first year of training, I probably only got results from like the first 2 exercises I did, and then the next 6 were all just volume my chest couldn't even handle. This is what's super important. Just because an exercise exists doesn't mean you have to fucking do it. Just because there's 25 different back exercises doesn't mean you have to fit 12 of them into a back day. What is most important when it comes to putting a good program together is to find like 4 to 6 probably exercises that you can do well, that you can train hard on, and that you can make progress on. Here's a bad example. Deadlifts hurt my back, but I know I need a deadlift, so I always deadlift. And that would be a bad choice. A good choice for an exercise would be bent over rows really help me feel my lats. I don't feel them on other rows, so I do more bent over rows. You should select the 4 to 6 exercises or so you're going to do, not from the totality of exercises that exist, but from the ones that you know work well for you. And if you're new, this is the fun part. You can rotate exercises in every 1 to 2 months, but don't rotate them in so fast you don't make any progress.
Taking a break from this episode to tell you a little bit about my coaching company, Core Coaching Method. More specifically, our app-based training. We partnered with Train Heroic to bring app-based training to you using the best technology and best user interface possible. You can join either my Home Heroes team, or you can train from home with bands and dumbbells, or Elite Physique, which is a female bodybuilding focused program where you can train at the gym with equipments designed specifically to help you develop strength as well as the glutes, hamstrings, quads, and back. I have more teams coming planned for a variety of different fitness levels. But what's cool about this is when you join these programs, you get programming that's updated every single week. The sets to do, the reps to do, exercise tutorials filmed by me with me and my team. So you'll get my exact coaching expertise as to how to perform the movement. It's a really cool training community, and you can try it completely free for 7 days. Can't wait to see you in the Core Coaching Collective, my app-based training community.
The fourth is actually something I've been saying for years, but recent research is really reconfirming my commitment to this being good advice. And that is to never prioritize weight over range of motion. Earlier in the video, I said it's important to add weight to the bar, and I believe that. You want to get stronger in all your lifts. But if I can squat, let's say 300 pounds this deep, and I say I want 400, put 400 on the bar. We go to 400, excellent, we're training heavier, but my range of motion is now halved. I would say, hey, let's split the difference. Let's do 350. Heavier than 300, but I can maintain that full range of motion. Believe it or not, the 300 and 350 pound squats done through a fuller range of motion will probably be better for you than the one done with a heavier weight. And this has to do with the fact that when you take a muscle, like the biceps, the chest, through its fullest range of motion, or in this squat example, the quads and the glutes, we get more stretch. And that stretch, when done under load, is great for muscle growth, building tissue, and resilience. This is the thing though. You don't have to always train so light that you can get into crazy ranges of motion. And you don't have to only pick exercises that bias the lengthened position or feature things like lengthened partials. You just need to remember that when you add an exercise to your program and you see how it's performed, whether that's in a tutorial video or otherwise, look for the full range of motion. Do not add so much weight so quickly that you lose that full range of motion, because you'll probably miss out on valuable growth. So even if it means to develop strength and add weight a little slower, but you always keep the great range of motion and form, that's what you got to do. Let's move on to the last and maybe most important tip. So this one took me a long time to learn and unfortunately quite a few injuries. But this tip is basically this. There are 0 exercises that you need to do. If you can't deadlift without it causing pain, you don't have to deadlift. If you hate Bulgarian split squats, you don't have to do Bulgarian split squats. When constructing a program, it's really tempting to want to add exercises that we see other people doing or that we want to be good at. But after a long enough time in the gym, guys, you're going to learn pretty fucking quickly that some exercises just don't gel for you. And if there's an exercise that recurrently causes pain, that you just hate seeing on your program, or you don't really feel in the target muscle, I'm going to give you permission to take that exercise, put it on the shelf for someone else. But this is what you got to do. You got to take off an alternative. So if you're not going to do barbell squats, that's fine. We still want to train the muscles that we squat with. So maybe that's a leg press or a Bulgarian. But you do not have to be married to any exercise. Just because certain exercises are popular or called the king of an exercise or the best for a certain muscle group, that doesn't mean shit. There's a ton of exercises to choose from. And what will help you make progress in the long run is identifying the ones that don't cause pain, that make you excited to train, and that you can just get after in the gym. So pick the shit you like, do some of what you need, but don't beat yourself up if there are exercises that no matter how many times you come back to them, they seem to cause pain, dysfunction, or you just flat out hate them. I'm going to give you the okay to ditch those and find better swaps that allow you to progress in the long run. All right, guys, that does it for this video. Those are my 5 tips. These are easy mistakes to fix. You're not screwing anything up if you're making them. The good news is, if you're making any of these mistakes, it's because you're in the gym kicking butt. But I want you not to have the same experience I had early in my training career. A lot of these are easy swaps and easy fixes, and that's what this channel is about. So be sure to hit the like button, the notification bell, and subscribe so that you can catch all these future videos. See you in the next one.